flame. I'm pulling out with a sick chain. Jumping in the Porsche in the 6 lane. I'm big fish, I'm big game. Chrome on, big flame.
Alright. Hi, welcome back. Hi, welcome to another video. Look at that guy. Last week, I was at the 2025 Anime Expo in Los Angeles. It was my first time entering the world of anime and cosplay. I have filmed plenty of large events in the past, but this was easily the most crowded, most chaotic, and most visually overwhelming one I have ever been to. While I was working on a recap video for a client, I also took the opportunity to shoot some street photos, mostly while walking between shoots or just heading to the bathroom. And for that, I brought my Leica M11P paired with the 28mm summicron. If I could only keep one lens for the rest of my life, it would be this one. It's fast, it's compact, it's sharp, and it just feels like an extension of how I see the world. I used to own the 28mm Emerald, which is a great lens, small, lightweight, sharp, even sharper than this one. But in the environment like this, where the lighting is unpredictable and the crowd is dense, f2.8 just wasn't enough. The lack of light meant I had to bump up my ISO higher than I liked, and the depth of field wasn't shadow enough to separate my subject from the crowd. One extra stop of light, going from 2.8 to 2.0, make a huge difference in moments like these. My general rule is use the lowest ISO possible for the cleanest image, so the extra stop on the summicron give me more control, better isolation, and less noise. Look at this beautiful handmade leather strap. It is made by my friend Jonathan. If you want a leather strap like this, make sure to reach out to him on his Instagram. I also had my 35mm Summilux with me, and I use it for some BTS moments. It's a stunning lens, probably the most cinematic I own, but I find that 35mm works best when the moment is slower, less chaotic, more composed. It gives a slightly more observer-like perspective. But the 28mm, it puts you right inside the scene, not watching from the outside, but part of the moment. It creates a sense of immersion that I just don't get from the 35. There is a reason so many street photographers swear by this focal length. 28mm is close to the widest natural human field of view, and it allows you to bring in more environmental context without the heavy distortion of 24mm. Photographers like Gary Winogrand, Daibo Maruyama, and in modern times, Joe Greer, have all made the 28mm their go-to lens. If you have watched Joe Greer's Street Diaries on YouTube, you've probably noticed his Leica MP and 28mm combo is almost always with him. It's not just about the angle, it's about how it makes you move. It forces you to get closer, to be present, to take part in what you are shooting. The rendering of this lens is also something I truly admire. While it may not give you the extreme shadow depth of field that the 35mm Summilux does, it still creates this beautiful fall-off, a soft, painterly blur that feels almost like an oil painting. The way the in-focus elements pop without harshness, and the way the background melts gently away, it creates a very organic emotional quality, if that makes sense. If this is your first time here, my name is Sam Lu. I'm a cinematographer and photographer based in Los Angeles. And if you find this video is helpful or even entertaining, consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already. It will help this channel grow. Thank you very much. Build-wise, the 28 summicron is solid, well-balanced, and much more affordable than the latest 28 summicron and Summilux. The only thing I didn't like was the stock plastic hood. A bit bulky and awkward looking. So I switched to a square hood metal one, which keeps the profile low and looks way cleaner. You could shoot without a hood at all. but I still prefer a bit of protection for the front element. So now, in terms of what I actually shoot, my street photography style tends to lean in a slightly unusual direction. I'm not always drawn to the loudest or most colorful subjects. In fact, I often look for moments that feels a little off. I'm fascinated by visual dissonance. When a person seems like they don't belong in the space they are in. At Anime Expo, you'd think the cosplayers would grab my attention. And at first they did, but eventually the overload of costumes and color became the new normal. Everyone was in character, and no one truly stood out anymore. Instead, I started photographing the people who weren't dressed up. People in plain outfits, police officers, vendors on break, security guards, the wrong people in the right place. And that contrast between the ordinary and the absurdity of the space, that's what caught my eye. It's subtle, it's quiet, but it's powerful. To me, those are the photos that linger. Not the loudest, but the most human. And with the 28mm, I feel like I can get close enough to capture that without breaking the moment. So yeah, that's why the 28mm summicron has become my most trusted lens. Fast, immersive, balanced, expressive. If I had to describe it in one word, honest. And in a place as surreal and performative as Anime Expo, sometimes honesty is exactly what I need my lens to see. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what focal length you feel most at home with, not just technically, but emotionally. And if this resonated, feel free to subscribe. I'm not here to talk specs, just sharing what it feels like to see through the lens.